hook and curiosity, it might sound like clickbait, but it's not. People with mental health struggles truly can't stay stressed while gardening. It's not magic, it's not placebo, it's something far more profound. The moment hands touch soil, something begins to shift in the brain. Breathing slows, the heart rate calms, and racing thoughts begin to fade. This isn't just feeling better, it's a tangible, measurable transformation. Are only beginning to understand. Imagine you're overwhelmed, the kind of stress where your chest feels tight, and every sound is too loud. Then, someone hands you a small plant to repot. Without realizing it, your shoulders drop. Your mind, instead of spiraling, narrows its focus on the simple task in front of you. That's the gardening effect. Quiet, powerful, and almost impossible to resist once it starts. The story here isn't just about relaxation. It's about how sustainability, yes, planting, growing, and caring for the earth can be a direct lifeline for mental health. For people living with anxiety, depression, or burnout, the garden is more than a hobby. It's a therapy without the sterile walls of a clinic. And unlike many treatments, it's accessible, low-cost, and deeply human. Scientists call it horticultural therapy. But for those who have experienced it, there's nothing clinical about it. It's personal. It's visceral. It's the smell of fresh soil, the weight of a watering can, and the satisfaction of watching something grow because you cared for it. That process doesn't just grow plants, it grows resilience, and that's what we're diving into today. The science, the stories, and the surprising ways sustainability can heal the mind. By the end of this video, you might not just understand it, you might feel an irresistible urge to grab a pair of gloves and start digging. Asterisk, the science behind the calm when you garden. Your body responds in ways you might not expect. Active digging and touching soil can release serotonin, the neurotransmitter often nicknamed the happiness chemical. Research has shown that certain bacteria in the soil, Mycobacterium vaccae, can naturally boost mood and lower anxiety levels. This means that when people with mental health struggles garden, they're not just distracting themselves, they're triggering actual chemical changes in their brain. But the benefits go deeper than biology. Gardening demands patience. Plants grow on their own schedule, not yours. For someone trapped in the fast, overwhelming pace of modern life, this shift to nature's time can be a radical change. It forces the brain to slow down, to sync with rhythms that are steady, predictable, and far less stressful than the chaos of daily life. That change in pace can be profoundly healing. Physical movement plays a huge role too. Digging, bending, carrying, these are all limb-packed forms of exercise. Physical activity, even at a gentle level, releases endorphins, the body's natural stress relievers. For someone with depression or chronic anxiety, this movement can become a non-threatening way to re-engage with the body, which often feels disconnected during periods of mental struggle. There's also the visual and sensory immersion. Bright greens, earthy browns, the sound of leaves rustling. The smell of fresh herbs. Gardening provides a multisensory environment that floods the brain with soothing input. In an age of constant digital stimulation, this analog, nature-driven, sensory experience can feel like a full mental reset. It's no wonder that many therapists now recommend it as part of a holistic recovery plan. What's remarkable is that these benefits appear even in small doses. Studies suggest that as little as 20 minutes of gardening can reduce cortisol, the primary stress hormone, to healthier levels. That's less time than most people spend scrolling on their phone, yet the payoff is significantly greater. For people living with ongoing mental health challenges, it's one of the simplest, most sustainable habits they can adopt. Asterisk, real stories, real impact. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old teacher who had been battling severe anxiety for years. Traditional therapy helped, but the constant mental noise never truly went away until she started volunteering at a community garden. She describes the first day as the first time in months my mind felt quiet. Within weeks, she noticed her anxiety attacks becoming less frequent and her sleep improved without medication changes. The simple act of tending to plants gave her a sense of control she hadn't felt in years. Then there's Marcus, a war veteran dealing with PTSD. Crowds and loud noises were unbearable. But in the garden, the world felt safe again. He started. Small watering tomatoes and pulling weeds, but soon, gardening became his morning ritual. He says the routine helped him reclaim parts of his life he thought were gone forever. For Marcus, the garden wasn't just therapy, it was a bridge back to society. Children aren't immune to this magic either. A pilot program in an urban school introduced gardening as a way to help students with ADHD and emotional regulation. Challenges. Teachers reported fewer classroom disruptions, and students who struggled to focus in traditional lessons thrived when learning about plant care. The garden became a living classroom, teaching not only biology, but also patience, responsibility, and self-regulation. Even in prisons, horticulture programs have shown transformative effects. Inmates who participated in gardening projects displayed lower rates of aggression and reported improved mental well-being. Working with plants created a rare sense of peace in an otherwise hostile environment. For many, it was their first experience of nurturing something and seeing it grow under their care. These stories are not isolated, across different countries, cultures, and circumstances. Gardening consistently delivers emotional stability, lower stress, and increased hope. It's proof that the connection between sustainability and mental health is not just theoretical, it's real. It's measurable and deeply human. Asterisk sustainability as a healing force. Gardening isn't just about personal wellness. It's also a direct act of sustainability. Every seed planted, every compost pile started, every pesticide-free harvest contributes to a healthier planet. For people with mental health struggles, this dual impact, healing yourself while helping the earth, creates a powerful sense of purpose. Purpose is one of the most critical elements in building resilience and emotional stability. When we engage in sustainable gardening, we participate in a cycle bigger than ourselves. Composting kitchen scraps, collecting rainwater, and growing food without harmful chemicals align our actions with environmental responsibility. This alignment reduces eco-anxiety, the fear and stress caused by environmental crises. By replacing helplessness with proactive contribution, you are no longer just worried about the world. You're actively making it better. Sustainable practices also encourage mindfulness. Choosing which plants to grow based on local climate, observing how seasons affect growth, and conserving resources all require slow, intentional decision-making. This is the opposite of our fast, reactive modern life. For someone whose mind is used to racing, these deliberate choices bring grounding and mental clarity. There's a community dimension too. Many sustainable gardening projects are collective efforts, neighborhood gardens, school initiatives, or workplace green spaces. These spaces foster connection, reducing isolation, which is a major factor in worsening mental health. Working alongside others toward a shared sustainable goal builds social bonds and a sense of belonging that therapy alone sometimes can't provide. In this way, sustainability doesn't just complement mental health recovery, it amplifies. You're not only calming your own mind, you're part of a global movement toward healing the planet. That double-layered impact turns gardening from a simple hobby into a life-changing practice with ripples far beyond your own backyard. The flow state in the garden. One of the most fascinating mental health benefits of gardening is its ability to trigger what psychologists call the flow state. Flow is when you are so immersed in an activity that time seems to disappear. It's that moment when your mind stops overthinking and simply exists in the present. For people with anxiety, depression, or trauma, finding this mental refuge can be life-changing. Gardening naturally invites flow because it balances challenge and skill. Tasks like planting, pruning, or arranging garden beds require enough focus to engage the brain, but not so much difficulty that it causes frustration. This sweet spot keeps the mind occupied in a way that leaves no room for intrusive thoughts. You're fully in the moment, not worrying about tomorrow, not replaying yesterday. The sensory aspects amplify this effect. The texture of soil slipping through your fingers, the smell of freshly cut herbs, the sound of bees moving between flowers, All of these sensory cues keep you anchored in the here and now. Unlike digital distractions, which often overstimulate, nature's stimuli are steady, gentle, and restorative. Flow in gardening also fosters creativity. Choosing plant combinations, designing garden layouts, and experimenting with sustainable techniques like companion planting give the brain a playful outlet. This creative engagement is especially healing for people whose mental health struggles have made them feel stuck or disconnected from their own imagination. Perhaps most importantly, flow creates a break in the cycle of rumination. For those whose minds constantly spiral into what-ifs and should-haves, the garden offers an unspoken command: be here now. And in that pause from mental chaos, the nervous system gets a chance to reset, something modern life rarely allows. Asterisk gardening without a garden. Not everyone has a backyard or a plot of land. But that doesn't mean the benefits of gardening are out of reach. Urban gardening, container planting, and indoor herb stations make it possible for anyone to experience the mental health boost of working with plants. Even a single potted plant on a windowsill can become a daily reminder of growth, patience, and care. The magic lies not in the size of the garden, but in the act of nurturing life. For apartment dwellers, container gardens offer flexibility and accessibility. Reused buckets, ceramic pots, or vertical wall planters can turn even the smallest balcony into a green sanctuary. Choosing plants that thrive in limited space like basil, cherry tomatoes, or lettuce allows for quick wins. Building confidence and motivation to keep growing, both literally and emotionally, community gardens are another powerful option. Many cities have shared spaces where residents can rent small plots for a lo-fi or volunteer in exchange for harvests. These spaces combine the therapeutic benefits of gardening with social interaction, reducing loneliness and creating a sense of belonging. They also introduce people to sustainable practices they can take back into their own homes. Indoor gardening, supported by modern tools like LED grow lights and hydroponic kits, opens the door for year-round planting regardless of climate. Herbs, like mint, parsley, and cilantro, grow well indoors and provide not only a sensory boost, but also fresh ingredients for healthy, mindful eating. This connection between what we grow and what we consume reinforces both mental and physical wellness. Ultimately, the accessibility of gardening means that the link between sustainability and mental health isn't reserved for people with large spaces or advanced skills. It's for anyone willing to put their hands in the soil, even if that soil lives in a small pot on a kitchen shelf. The garden, in any form, becomes a sanctuary for the mind. Asterisk, growing together as a family gardening, can be far more than a personal hobby, can become a shared family tradition. When families garden together, they're not just planting seeds in the soil, they're planting seeds of communication, cooperation, and mutual care. This collective activity bridges generational gaps, giving children, parents, and even grandparents a reason to spend time together away from screens and distractions. For children, gardening offers an early lesson in responsibility. Caring for plants teaches them that living things depend on consistent attention and effort. They learn that patience pays off and that the small actions they take today can create big rewards in the future. These life lessons often extend beyond the garden, influencing how they approach school, friendships, and personal challenges. Parents benefit too, especially those dealing with high stress. Gardening provides a shared space where the focus shifts from daily pressures to nurturing growth. Instead of conversations revolving around chores, homework, or bills, families find themselves talking about plant progress, weather patterns, and harvest plans. These lighthearted interactions help strengthen family bonds and reduce tension at home. Sustainable gardening also becomes a teaching tool. Families who compost, collect rainwater, and choose native plants are not just growing food, they're modeling environmental stewardship. Children raised in this environment grow up with a built-in understanding of sustainability, which can influence their habits and values for a lifetime. It's a subtle yet powerful way to pass on a green legacy. The emotional payoff is undeniable. Families who share gardening report feeling more connected, more relaxed, and more optimistic. Watching something grow together creates a sense of shared achievement. And when the garden produces food for the table, every meal becomes a celebration of teamwork, patience, and care, values that can nourish far more than the body. Asterisk healing communities through green spaces. When sustainable gardening expands from individual backyards to community projects, the effects can be transformative. Vacant lots become vibrant gardens, food deserts gain access to fresh produce, and neighborhoods once known for tension or neglect turn into gathering spaces filled with life. These green spaces do more than improve the environment, they repair. The social fabric. Community gardens provide a natural meeting point for people from all walks of life. In areas where trust has eroded, shared work on the soil fosters cooperation and respect. The act of planting side by side, regardless of background or age, creates a sense of unity that's hard to achieve through other means. Over time, this collective care turns strangers into allies. Sustainable practices in these projects multiply the benefits. Composting reduces waste. Rainwater collection conserves resources. Pesticide-free farming protects local ecosystems. Residents not only improve their mental health through gardening, but also see tangible, positive changes in their surroundings. Cleaner air, greener landscapes, and the hum of pollinators make the neighborhood feel alive again. These spaces often serve as informal therapy zones. People struggling with loneliness, grief, or chronic stress find comfort in the slow grounding rhythm of garden work. Without the pressure of formal therapy, conversations flow naturally between planting rows or during harvests, creating emotional support networks that can be more accessible than traditional mental health services. The ripple effect is powerful. As gardens flourish, pride in the community grows. Crime rates can drop, children have safe places to play, and local economies benefit from farmers markets or eco-friendly businesses sprouting alongside the gardens. In this way, sustainable gardening doesn't just heal individuals, it restores the heart of the community itself. Asterisk, the science behind gardening and mental health research has repeatedly shown that exposure to plants in green spaces directly impacts the brain's chemistry. Contact with soil can trigger the release of serotonin and dopamine, chemicals that regulate mood and reward. For people experiencing anxiety or depression, these neurochemical boosts create immediate, noticeable reductions in stress. Gardening isn't just relaxing, it's biologically therapeutic. Beyond neurotransmitters, studies highlight how sustainable gardening reduces cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Even short daily interactions with plants like watering, pruning, or simply observing growth lead to measurable decreases in physiological stress. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, and tension in the body eases. This is why people truly can't stay stressed while actively gardening. Cognitive benefits are equally significant. Gardening requires focus, planning, and problem solving, which engage executive functions in the prefrontal cortex. This mental exercise helps people regain a sense of control over their thoughts, reducing the intrusive rumination common in depression and anxiety. It's a natural, immersive, cognitive therapy that doesn't feel clinical or forced. Sustainable gardening also engages the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system that counters fight-or-flight responses. By nurturing life in an environmentally responsible way, individuals feel connected not only to the plants but to a larger purpose. This holistic approach aligns mind, body, and environment, reinforcing mental resilience through meaningful action. Finally, research confirms that the social and environmental aspects of sustainable gardening enhance its therapeutic power. Working with others in eco-friendly projects creates community support, while contributing to the planet's health fosters a sense of purpose and accomplishment. In this way, sustainability is more than a practice. It's the missing piece that magnifies the mental health benefits of gardening. The future of mental health and sustainability. Imagine a world where every school, community center, and urban neighborhood incorporates sustainable gardens. People struggling with anxiety, depression, or stress would have safe, accessible spaces. To heal, gardening could become a standard part of mental health programs alongside therapy and medication. The combined impact on well-being and environmental responsibility would be revolutionary. Individuals would experience daily moments of calm, grounding themselves in the natural rhythms of growth. Families would reconnect through shared planting and harvesting, and communities would thrive as neglected areas transform into vibrant green sanctuaries. This is not a distant dream. Small-scale projects today are already demonstrating the immense potential of this approach. Sustainability and mental health are not separate challenges. They are deeply intertwined. Caring for the planet teaches care for oneself. Tending to plants mirrors tending to emotions. As society embraces this connection, we create spaces that nurture the mind while supporting the earth. The benefits ripple outward. It's touching more lives than any isolated intervention could. The science, stories, and real-life experiences all point to one undeniable truth. People with mental health struggles can't stay stressed while gardening. Sustainability amplifies this effect, turning a simple activity into a holistic, life-changing practice. It's a reminder that healing doesn't always come from medication or counseling alone. Sometimes it grows from the soil beneath our hands. So grab a plant, dig your hands into the earth, and join the movement. Start small, start today, and watch not only your mental health, but your world transform. The garden waits, and with it, it's a missing piece of your well-being and the planet's future. Asterisk. Overcoming barriers to gardening. Many people want the benefits of gardening, but feel limited by time, space, or knowledge. These barriers often create anxiety before they even start. However, small steps can overcome these obstacles. Container gardens, vertical walls, and indoor herbs offer practical solutions. Even minimal effort can trigger noticeable mental health improvements. Online resources, tutorials, and community workshops make it easier than ever to begin. Learning sustainable techniques like composting or companion planting builds confidence and reinforces the sense of achievement. The knowledge gained also empowers individuals to experiment and take control of their environment. Time constraints can be managed by integrating micro-gardening sessions into daily routines. Even 10 minutes spent watering plants or pruning leaves can provide a calming reset. Short, consistent engagement is often more effective than sporadic, long sessions. Reinforcing mental health benefits. SUSTAINABLY. Accessibility doesn't just mean physical space. It also means financial feasibility. Reusing containers, seeds, and kitchen scraps makes gardening affordable. Communities often share seeds, tools, and tips, creating a culture of collaboration that strengthens social bonds and reduces stress. Through shared support, by dismantling these barriers, gardening becomes an achievable, empowering practice. The path to mental well-being through sustainability doesn't require perfection. It only requires action, consistency, and a willingness to connect with life in a tangible, nurturing way. Asterisk. Mindfulness and emotional regulation. Gardening naturally cultivates mindfulness, a core practice for emotional regulation. Focusing on planting, watering, and observing growth anchors attention to the present moment. For people with mental health struggles, this attentional shift reduces rumination and intrusive thoughts. The sensory engagement of gardening enhances mindfulness. Smells, textures, colors, and sounds immerse the mind, activating relaxation responses. In the nervous system, the sensory richness provides an immediate antidote to anxiety, offering grounding even in highly stressful environments. Mindfulness in the garden also promotes emotional insight. Observing plant cycles teaches patience and acceptance, reflecting lessons applicable to personal challenges. Failures, like wilted leaves, become opportunities for reflection and adaptation. Nurturing resilience over time, sustainable gardening adds a layer of purpose, increasing emotional satisfaction. Knowing that actions contribute positively to the environment fosters a sense of ethical accomplishment. Emotional regulation is amplified when mindful practice is paired with meaningful, planet-friendly activities. Ultimately, gardening creates a safe, structured environment where mental health struggles can be navigated gently. It cultivates patience, awareness, and intentionality, skills transferable to daily life, reducing stress and enhancing overall emotional well-being. Nutrition. Food and mental health. Growing your own food connects sustainability directly to mental and physical health. Fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs from your garden provide nutrients essential for brain function. Omega-3 South, antioxidants, and vitamins support cognitive function, mood regulation, and energy levels. The act of eating food you grew yourself also increases mindfulness and satisfaction. Preparing meals from garden harvests strengthens the mind-body connection, reinforcing the idea that you can actively nurture both yourself and the planet. This holistic approach supports long-term well-being. Community gardens often include shared crops, encouraging social interaction and shared responsibility. Collective harvesting fosters collaboration, mutual support, and a sense of accomplishment, which are all key factors in reducing stress and improving mental resilience. Sustainable. Food practices also reduce anxiety related to food security or environmental concerns. Knowing that you are contributing to eco-friendly practices and self-sufficiency empowers individuals and communities, decreasing feelings of helplessness and worry. By linking nutrition, sustainability, and mental health, gardening becomes a multifaceted tool. You're not just planting seeds. You're cultivating a lifestyle that feeds body, mind, and environment simultaneously. It's creating lasting positive impacts. Seasonal gardening and life cycles gardening teaches respect for natural cycles, an invaluable lesson for mental health. Observing seasonal changes, plant growth, and decay mirrors the rhythms of life, helping people accept transitions and impermanence with greater ease. Awareness of these cycles encourages patience and reduces anxiety over outcomes. Engaging with seasonal planting keeps the mind active and anticipatory. Planting spring crops, nurturing summer blooms, or harvesting autumn vegetables offers structured activities that support focus and executive function. This rhythm provides predictability, which is crucial for emotional stability. The life cycle of plants also teaches resilience. Dying plants aren't failures. They are opportunities to learn, adapt, and replant. This mirrors emotional recovery. Setbacks don't signify defeat, they indicate growth potential. Gardening reinforces hope and adaptability naturally. Sustainable practices accentuate these lessons. Rotating crops, composting, and seed saving cultivate long-term thinking, encouraging individuals to consider consequences and sustainability in broader contexts. Mental health benefits are amplified when daily actions contribute to a larger ecological vision. By aligning mental well-being with the cycles of nature, gardening fosters a sense of harmony and belonging. It reminds people that growth, rest, and renewal are part of every life, a lesson that translates far beyond the garden into everyday mental resilience. Long-term transformation and lifestyle integration. Gardening can evolve from a hobby into a lifelong practice, transforming mental health and lifestyle simultaneously. Daily or weekly routines anchored in sustainable gardening create lasting habits that reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall quality of life. Over time, these practices develop a strong sense of agency. Individuals learn that small, consistent efforts yield measurable results, reinforcing confidence and self-efficacy. This empowerment extends to other areas of life, from work to relationships. Amplifying emotional well-being. Sustainability becomes embedded into daily routines, creating habits that positively affect both personal and planetary health. Recycling, composting, and mindful consumption naturally integrate into life, reinforcing the connection between caring for oneself and caring for the earth. The psychological effects compound as gardening becomes a shared family or community practice. Social bonds strengthen, support networks expand, and collective achievements amplify feelings of pride and purpose. Mental health improves not just individually, but across social circles. Ultimately, sustainable gardening is more than a stress relief tool. It's a transformative lifestyle. It merges emotional, social, and environmental health into a single practice, offering a tangible path toward resilience, well-being, and hope for a better world. Asterisk.